Hey guys, so in today's video, what I want to do is talk through why you might feel like you never have enough money and what to do about it. Because a few years ago, I was definitely in this position. I used to live paycheck to paycheck and I never felt like I had enough money, particularly to either save or to give. And so I want to talk about, the reasons why you might feel like money is just never there and how you can actually overcome this so that you are able to save more and you're able to give more if that's something that you would love to do. So let's get started. So first of all, when it comes to feeling like you never have enough money, I feel like this tends to happen a lot, even when it comes to just giving money. So whether you are giving to your family or community, or maybe you're a person of faith, so you choose to give tithes. I think that a lot of us would love to give money, but we just feel like we don't have enough money to give, and so we don't end up doing it as much, and obviously it makes us feel a bit guilty because we're not giving back to society, for example. And I know this because I used to feel like this, but also my clients tend to feel like this as well. And so in my case, because I'm a person of faith, I remember that people would normally just give like 10% of their tithes and they would do other giving and things like that. And I literally remember just feeling like people are crazy. I just thought, how on earth can you give 10% of your income? That is literally impossible. Whenever I would try and give my tithes or offering, I just felt like, oh, I've only got a few pounds or dollars that I can give and that's it. Giving like even 5% or 10% just felt so crazy to me. The same thing happened when it came to saving money. So obviously now it's totally different. I'm able to save a lot more, but 4 years ago, that was definitely not the case. And I always used to question how people are able to save that much, like how people are able to save 20% of their income, 30%, 40%. All of that seemed wild to me because I always felt like there was just never enough money to go around to then allocate that purely for saving. And so if you're in a very similar position, just know that I've definitely been there. But one of the things that actually helped me was a saying, I don't remember where it was from, but it was basically saying, rather than thinking about, oh, I have to give 10% or I have to save 10% of my income, what if I could just learn to live on 90%? What if I could just learn to spend 90% of my income, or 80% or 70%? And that kind of shifted my mindset because I wasn't feeling like, oh, I actually have to find some money to be able to give or to save. It was more about me thinking, actually, how can I just live on slightly less money? How can I learn how to just spend 70 or 80 or 90% of my income and just be content with that? And thinking that through really helped me to now start giving and saving more. And even for me personally, I was still giving whilst I was paying off my debt. So I had about 16k debt that I needed to pay off, but me giving a percentage of my income, so me giving at least 10% of my income, still helped me to pay off 16,000 in about 18 months. And so that's when I realized that actually I have enough money, and I probably have more than enough money, to be honest. But the reason why I struggled so much to give and to save is because I just kind of told myself that I can't do it, and it felt like giving or saving was just taking too much out of my income. Whereas if I shifted the focus to thinking about how can I just spend 80% of my income or 90% of my income, that felt a lot more realistic. And if you're liking this video so far, then feel free to give me a thumbs up, as it really does help to support the channel. Plus, I'm sure you know it's free. And so whenever I'm talking to my clients and they have the mentality that they just never have enough money, I find that the reason why they don't have enough money is because they struggle to think about giving or saving because it feels like money is just being taken away from them and they just don't have enough of that, rather than thinking about just spending slightly less. So just spending 80% of their income or 70% of their income. And the reason why that is actually very powerful is because when it comes to spending money, if you have certain expenses, so let's say that you have essential bills like your rent, your mortgage, or your utility bills, or like SIM contracts or anything like that, you you know that you will have money to pay for those expenses. Like, you know you will have to pay for those essential bills, whether you like it or not. Like, it will just happen. You will find the money some way, somehow. And so what I get them to do is think about, well, what if you could treat your savings and your giving like it's an essential bill? So it means that you now have to save or give, not from a place of, oh, this is just extra money, but it's from a place where you know that this is something you have to pay for, because you're almost treating it like an expense. And when they now start to view it like that, it becomes a bit easier, because again, what they will do is they will say, okay, I need to make sure all of my essential bills are paid for and those expenses are paid for. And then after that, I need to figure out how I can spend the rest of the money. So I need to figure out how I can spend on 70% of my income or 80% of my income. So if you've ever looked at some of my budget videos, you will see that the first two things that we will always pay for is our savings and investments, and also our essential bills. And under our essential bills, that includes giving our tithes and giving to others as well. And the reason why we have it under there is because we treat giving like an essential bill. So it's something that we want to keep practicing and keep doing because it's important to us. And one of the other things that I will say is, if you feel like you never have enough money so that you can give money or you can save money, I will say that part of the problem could be because of the way you spend your money as well. So if you cannot control your spending, then of course you're never going to feel like you have enough money, because everything that you have will just be spent. And I know this because this is something that I struggled with. And so by actually learning how to control my spending, and what I mean is that you don't have to just completely cut back on your spending, but you now have to start thinking much more intentionally. And so when you're spending your money, you're going to now think about spending money on things that truly matter to you and things that you value, rather than spending on just absolute rubbish and then thinking, why did I spend my money? So if you have a problem when it comes to spending, that's obviously going to have an impact on how you view money and whether you feel like you have enough money as well. And I remember I had one client where she really wanted to give more, but she always felt like she just didn't have enough money to give, and so she wasn't able to do it. But then what I said is, if you just learned how to control your spending, because we would go through her expenses, and some of the things that she spent money on, she was just really embarrassed because she was like, why on earth did I spend money on this? So I said, well, if you just stopped doing that and actually just spent money on things that really matter to you, you would have enough money to give. You would have enough money to save. And so when she now controlled that spending, she was able to save and give over twice the amount she was doing before, purely because she had controlled her spending. And that then freed up money, so it freed up cash to now save and also give back as well. But that didn't have a negative impact on her spending, because now she was just spending money on things that mattered to her. So she was then able to have a balance of both, where she was able to give more and save more, but at the same time, she didn't have to completely cut back on her spending. In fact, she felt much more comfortable spending her money because she realized that she was spending money on things that actually mattered to her. And so if you're someone who again struggles with thinking that you never have enough money, it could be because of the way that you're spending your money instead. And then when it comes to savings and investments, it is pretty much the same concept. So whenever you're hearing people say that you need to pay yourself first, this is where it comes from. So in this case, for example, if you feel like you don't have enough money to save, it could be because you're spending your money first, and then at the end of the week or the month, you're thinking, oh, I need to save money, but there's no money to save. Whereas what I will typically do is I will prioritize the savings first. So again, it's literally as if it's like an essential bill. And so once that's all paid out, the rest of the money I can then spend. And so that's typically why I still can then spend the money and feel like I have enough money, because I know that at the end of the day, I've already taken care of my essential bills, I've taken care of my savings and investments, and I've also given money away as well. And the other thing I would say is, if you never feel like you have enough money, it could simply be because you are not clear on your numbers. And what I mean by this is you're not clear on exactly what is coming in versus what is coming out. And so whenever I'm talking about things like doing a budget to be really clear on your numbers, I'm not saying it just because you should have a budget and that's all. Like I don't see the point of budgeting just for the sake of budgeting. The reason why I say you want to do a budget is because it will help you clarify on exactly how you are spending, and with that you can then decide whether you still want to be spending as much as you are now, or if you now want to prioritize other areas. When I decided to do things like budgeting and actually really look at my numbers, what that meant was I knew that I could dedicate a certain amount to my savings, to my essential bills, and to my giving. And so that helped me to understand, okay, this is exactly how much I have to spend, and then I could plan accordingly in terms of how I wanted to spend my money. And so if you always feel like the money is just not there, really ask yourself, do I actually know how much I'm spending? Do I actually know how much my essential bills come to? Do I even know how much realistically I could give or save if I simply did my budget and really looked at my numbers? Again, I always say that the budget is not there for you to cut back and restrict yourself, but the budget is to help you get clear on your financial goals and understand how you can get there. If you have specific saving goals, or if you want to be able to give a lot more than you currently are doing, you want to be clear on your numbers so that you can figure out exactly how much you can save and how much you can give. And weirdly enough, my clients always find that the more they give, the more they feel like they actually do have enough money, and the more they feel like they can still spend their money. And so what we try to do is, if you've never been able to give money before because you feel like you'd never have enough money but you would like to give money, I always say that you could start small. And so you could tell yourself, actually, I'm going to try and give 3% of my income, and I'm going to treat that like an essential bill. So it's something that will come out of my account as if it is like my rent and mortgage. And then you can then start to increase that to 5%, to 7%, to 10%, depending on how much you would love to give. You don't always have to go from 0 to 100. You can start small. But what you might find is that when you now start giving, you still have money to spend. It's not like you'll feel like, oh, there's no money to spend whatsoever. Most of the time you will find that actually you still have money to spend, and you can still live the life you want whilst giving back, and also while saving a percentage of your income as well. Now, if you find that you really resonate with this and you always feel like you just never have enough money, even if you have a decent income, but you're not really sure whether it's your spending or it's just because you don't really know where the money is going and you would love to have support to control your finances, then make sure you do check out my one-on-one coaching, because what we can do is really map out your finances so that we can create a perfect budget that works for you, that's simple and easy to use, allowing you to not only spend your money but to also have enough money to give and to also save as well. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. You can book a free call just to find out more. So I'll link more information up here for you and in the description below. But remember, when it comes to having enough money, sometimes the reason why we just don't feel like we have enough money is simply because we believe that we don't have enough money, and because we believe that, we've now already told ourselves that we cannot save or we cannot give a percentage of our income. And so what I would challenge you to do is really question yourself and ask yourself, do I really not have enough money, or is it just something that I've been telling myself, and has that been stopping me from working towards my financial goals and being able to give to others? And you might find that actually it could just be your beliefs that have stopped you from working towards those goals. So if you did like this video, then please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, do you ever feel like you never have enough money? Why do you think that is? I do post every Tuesday, so if you would like to know more, then of course you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week.